What's up, guys? This is Chris from Honest Outlaw here, and me and the missus were just ranting about some comments and about some conversations we've had, and I wanted to make a video on a topic that I was just thinking about at the time. I want to talk about the difference between price and performance, and maybe expectations on buying a gun, and maybe why guns are certain prices and others are not. So before we do that, I want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys. You guys help support all the guns and ammunition that we shoot on the channel. Most of the guns you'll see in this video were paid by Patreon supporters, so thank you guys very much. If you want to help, all you got to do is go down to the link in the description and sign up. Also in that description is a link to a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. It's a youth shelter. It's the YSS. And I try to support that in every video because it is a cause that's close to my heart. So please go down there and click that link and donate to those kids. They could use your help, especially during the holiday season. Now, we're gonna do a little bit of kind of incoherent rant today, but I basically want to go over certain price tiers of guns. Firearms, yes, all go bang. They, for the most part, have a trigger and sights, but that's kind of where a lot of the similarities end, and even guns in particular categories can vary wildly in not only price, but performance. And I wanted to go over a couple of different guns today in different price tiers and kind of talk about the philosophy of why they were made, and then kind of a different look at how manufacturers make guns. And let's go over that with the two we were talking about first. So this is the Glock. This is a P80, but it's supposed to symbolize kind of a cheaper Glock. So Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4 Glock 17s are all readily available in a lot of pawn shops, stores, big box stores, and can be found used for really low prices these days, and they're great guns. They really are. They're one of the best guns ever made. Extremely reliable, extremely robust, built to handle most weather and adverse conditions. Built to be used by law enforcement, military, and responsible civilians as well. So I like that a lot. I like a gun that you can take out all day and night and will work pretty much no matter what you do to it. Pretty much. And Glock makes these to a price point, and that's kind of one of the things we were talking about here with something like this. This is the HK USP Expert. And this is kind of the top of the mountain when it comes to reliability, durability. And that's the point of these guns. These guns are supposed to be lightweight, carried all day, and used in extremely hazardous situations. This isn't a match gun. This isn't a match gun. These are duty guns. These are save-a-life type guns. So they err on reliability, durability first, whereas the Glock builds their gun to hit a specific price point for sale. So they want to get into the big box stores, they want to get into the gun stores at a low price, comparable to other guns in its class, and they want to outsell them, and that's how they want to make their money. They want to hit that price point, and they have that price point as kind of an idea while they're making the gun. So this gun, the whole concept of this gun is created, especially when they make the Gen 5s, the Gen 6s, the concept is give you a little more gun, but at a price point you can absolutely afford. Whereas the philosophy of use on the HK is to make the best gun, and whoever can afford it, can afford it. And that's a huge difference in philosophy when it comes to making the firearm. What you generally get is higher quality control, extremely high quality control. You usually get a considerably better fit. You usually get a better finish overall, and that is true. For adverse conditions, the USP Expert, the USP series, has been proven to be maybe the most reliable gun on earth. Not only that, but this gun will shoot unbelievable groups while doing that because their idea wasn't to hit that $500 price point, and this gun certainly doesn't. This is anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. But when you eliminate that idea of a price point, what you can do is make a gun that's essentially invulnerable to the elements while still being extremely reliable and extremely fast, and that's what they've done here. But they've done it for a much higher price, and they've priced themselves out of a lot of people's wallet. So you won't see nearly as many of these as you'll see as these. And now that isn't me telling you to ditch all your Glocks and go out and get an H&K. That is just me trying to explain the difference in price, but also the difference in philosophy of use for not only the product maker, but the consumer as well. Do you need this? I mean, it's one thing to want this. I don't need this, but I want this because it looks really cool and it reminds me of something that they would use off the Book of Eli or Mad Max, because it has that post-apocalyptic vibe to it, because you know that this thing can handle it. HK, when they put these things through testing, especially things like the Mark 23 or the USP, you know, 10,000 round accuracy test, 5,000 round adverse condition test. They, you know, beat them with hammers, run them over with trucks. I mean, you would be amazed what these things can do. But they have the luxury to give you a pistol that can do that, because they can also charge you whatever it is that it will take to make a gun that can do that. Whereas Glock has to make a gun that's reliable and durable enough, more so maybe than its peers and its price point, but they have to make the most reliable and durable gun for $500. And will a Glock work? Because I gotta tell you, a Glock works for most special operators. A Glock works for most law enforcement personnel. A Glock works for almost every concealed carrier that you're gonna need. So when people ask me, well, what's the most durable, what's the most reliable gun? Well, it's probably something like this, but if you can afford this, this is durable and reliable enough, especially for almost everyone's uses on Earth. Unless you're literally in Dev Group or you're in MARSOC or something like that, and you know that you're gonna have a mission where you're gonna be, well, I don't know, crawling on a muddy beach all day, and all you're gonna do is just pile mud and dirt and sand into this thing. Well, maybe the USP or the Mark 23 is for you, but for the most part, the Glock is gonna handle that just fine. Now, there's other tiers in that as well, where you get into competition world. We have something like a Canik TP9, and that's a great gun, but Canik's trying to make a great gun coming in at the $300, $400, $500 price point. So you're gonna get a finish, and you're gonna get a quality control, and you're gonna get a barrel with barrel materials and optics mounts that match that price point. And you can move up from there, from the $300 to $400 price point to something mid-grade, where you're gonna get similar ergonomics, a little bit better trigger, better finish, overall better quality control on the parts. You're gonna get less likely of a chance of breakage down the line. You're gonna get less chance of a lemon right out of the box. You're gonna get a greater chance this gun's gonna be reliable and more accurate. But you can go up from there again. I mean, this is what Walther's doing. Walther's trying to make the best competition gun they can make, or the best overall gun they can make for the $500 to $600 price point, whereas a company like Lago Arms is not interested in a price point at all. They wanted to make the best shooting gun on Earth. So they did. And they used different systems that are unusual. They used a lot of innovation, and they used a lot of R&D to create this brand new gun. However, instead of $500, this gun's $4,000. And what are you paying for? Diminishing returns, for sure, right? But if you are trying to get the bleeding edge of speed and accuracy, this is where it's at. Or a 2011, an Atlas Gunworks 2011, or a Hayes Custom 2011, but all those guns are gonna be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 plus. And you do definitely see diminishing returns between something like this versus something like that. Can this keep up with that? Equal shooters? No, it can't. But if you're a little bit better skilled than somebody with a gun like that, yes, you can outshoot them with a gun like this. It just depends on how much trigger time you have. That's something you have to be aware with, is price versus performance as well. So how much ammo can you afford? So if you could afford this and then 10,000 rounds worth of 9mm, or you could afford this and 1,000 rounds of 9mm, you're gonna end up being a better shooter with this. So that is one thing to be aware of as well. I just wanted to give, maybe not all the examples, but a couple examples of companies to look for in different price tiers that I think do it really well. And I did choose these guns for a reason. These are two of my favorite budget-ass guns. I mean, you're talking about the Canik series, anywhere from $300 to $600. It's gonna do almost everything that a high-tier handgun will do. As a matter of fact, there are people who win world titles with Canik. Now, could they have done slightly better with a gun like this? Well, probably, yeah. but it is what it is, right? It just depends on what you can afford. I mean, companies in the low tier that I like for handguns are gonna be Canik for sure. I like the Beretta APX a ton. I like the Taurus series if you get a good one. Steyer's right in there, and then you go up to mid-grade. I love Walther, I love H&K, I love Glock, I love M&P. I love CZ for pretty much across the board. CZ is a company that has quality manufacturing, good quality control, quality parts, literally from the $400 range all the way up to the $2,000 range, depending on what you're looking for. If you want a polymer frame gun, if you want a steel frame gun, they do it all. Walther, same thing. You can get a PDP or a PPQ for a really low price, but then you can get into a PPQ steel frame match if you want for the $1,500 mark. That's going to be faster and more accurate, but it just depends on what you want to pay. I like Glock, I like H&K for the durability of like a military grade firearm, but M&P fits right in there as well. The VP9 is a great lightweight option for that. Water lock issues back in the day, but not anymore. And overall, there's a lot of good quality guns out there. You just have to figure out what's right for you, what's in your price range, and what does the thing you want it to do the best. You know, this is a great gun, but it's not a great gun for concealed carry. You know, you don't want this poking you in the dick all day. That's a long ass, big ass gun. Now that might be a great shooting gun, but it's definitely going to be uncomfortable over a long period of time. And I know that to be true because I've tried to carry full-size guns in my life. There's only a few people that I've ever talked to that carry full-size guns consistently that aren't doing it for a YouTube video. And that's one thing you have to remember. When we do EDC stuff, I always try to be completely as honest and transparent, and that's why my EDC is often, what, a Glock 43X, something like that. I'm not carrying a Glock 34 because the people you watch that carry it on videos aren't carrying them either. But the point is like, yeah, you're just gonna have to do individual research on each gun, and thankfully, the internet is a thing, and you can, if you're YouTubing this video, you can YouTube plenty of videos from reputable reviewers on any gun that you're looking for. And on top of that, you can compare and contrast. When I look for reviews on guns, I don't just look for people that I trust, but I look for multiple people, especially a person that I trust doing something with the thing that I want to do with it. Now we'll get into precision rifles, which is kind of what we were talking about too, where you're going to get a varying degree of quality anywhere from a gun that works pretty well to a gun that will never not work. And there's different philosophies of use even in the high-end semi-auto or bolt gun market, whereas you have a gun like my SCAR 17 here, which I haven't showed off yet. This is actually the new SCAR 17, and this one doesn't have the reciprocating charging handle, so it kind of fixes the SCAR issue, right? But again, it comes in at around 7 pounds, which is lightweight for a battle-proven, durable, reliable battle rifle. 7 pounds is very lightweight for a 308 with a 20-round box magazine and a folding stock, which is really, really cool. However, that's the philosophy of use of this, to get it as lightweight, as accurate as possible, while still being military-grade durable. I mean, you gotta understand, this thing was created from a special operations contract. They required a gun that did what this gun will do, and they made this up for special operations. So obviously it's gonna be overbuilt. It's gonna have to spend a lot of time in not only adverse conditions, but it's going to be used by people who don't care all that much about it. So it's got to hang pretty much indefinitely, and it's got to be easy for parts to be swapped out and fixed. Whereas you have something like the Rome Red River here, ultralight, which is literally the same caliber, same barrel length, same freaking color. However, it's a semi-automatic as well, but it's a completely different philosophy of use, even though they're around the same price. This is lightweight for a battle rifle that's durable and you can take it to Afghanistan and that kind of thing, whereas this is lightweight for freaking lightweight. I mean, this is running around 5 pounds, almost 2 pounds lighter than one of the lightest 308s. And the way they achieve that is different materials. I mean, obviously there's a lot of magnesium, a lot of carbon fiber, stuff like that used in this. A lightweight pencil profile barrel and lighter weight billet receivers. And what you end up with was a much lighter gun, but if you drop this down a mountain, it's gonna break. If you drop that SCAR down a mountain, it's not gonna break. If you run this over the truck, it's gonna break. If you run this over the truck, well, the UGG stock might break, but you can get a new one. My point I'm trying to make is there's different philosophies of use for different guns in different price tiers, even though they appear like they do the same thing. So when you're gonna buy an expensive gun, like maybe a SCAR 17, consider what you're going to use it for. Do you want to use it for long-range hunting? Something like this, where you're going to get 5 rounds, but you're going to get quick follow-up shots. After 100 rounds or so, it's probably going to have heat issues. After 10,000 rounds through this and throwing it up and down a mountain, you're probably going to have parts breakages, which you won't with that. But you can afford to do that because you're not going to be shooting this near as much. This isn't a designated marksman gun. This isn't a support weapon of any kind where you're going to do tons and tons of rounds through it. It's going to have 4 or 5 rounds through it. Barrel's going to be able to cool off. You're not gonna have to worry about overheating the barrel. You're not gonna have to worry about cracking the magnesium handguard or anything like that. I mean, maybe you will, but even if you did on a hunting trip crack the rail, you don't have to worry about it because you're not gonna put a PEC 15 or a laser system or anything like that up top. So, but I had a question whether I should get this or should get this, and the answer is, what are you gonna do with it? So at the end of the day, with any gun, what are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna go hunting with it? Is it gonna be quality, reliable? Is it going to be durable and accurate enough for you to hunt with it? Maybe. Depends on what you're looking at. Are you going to take it out to use for a home defense weapon as well? Are you going to use a competition gun for a 3-gun, or maybe you're going to use this for a 3-gun in heavy metal? In which case, it'd be super lightweight, but would the round count literally rattle this thing apart? It's certainly possible. And that's why high-end competition guns who are in 308 are made a little more high quality than that, but they are also going to be a little heavier. Quality varies so wildly between company and model these days, you're gonna just have to do individual research. But a couple examples of companies to look for in different price tiers that I think do it really well. And price versus performance is a big thing. You know, you have the high end, the top end. Proof Research is right up there. I mean, you're talking about people that make precision rifles that have no price point. They're not interested in anything. JP is obviously right up there, at least from my research and my overall experience. So those two would be like the top tier. Accuracy International is another one of those companies that have no interest in a price point. I mean, if you look at those guns, Barrett's another one where there'll be $4,000, $5,000 plus on the fucking low end. Let me think. Cobalt Kinetics is another one that comes to mind. All those are amazing vetted companies, but price point is not a factor. Whereas you get down to the middle grade of even semi-auto precision rifle, stuff like that, you've got Ruger that comes to mind. Savage is a really good company that they have mid-grade and cheap models that both do very well. As far as the semi-autos go, you're gonna have BCM Daniel Defense, obviously, and then on the lower end, you're gonna have things like Delton, which do really well. Bear Creek Arsenal isn't so bad for the price. Palmetto State Armory is right in there as well. All those are good rifle companies for mid to low tier. But like I said, once you get in the high tier, especially of AR-15s, you're gonna get something that's absolutely bomb-proof. It's gonna be right out of the factory. I mean, like we were watching a video on Proof Research today, and just everything is right there. You buy a Proof Research barrel and it's $800, which is ungodly, but you're talking about a barrel that's half MOA. And you're talking about a barrel that comes with a predetermined gas system for whatever caliber you're using, comes with a gas block already that has a dimple on the top and bottom so you can't mess up the gas block orientation. The barrels lock up great. The feed ramps are amazing. Now, mid-grade barrels, you can get a Criterion barrel that does pretty close to the same thing. It just depends on, and that's going to be, you know, $300-$400. It just depends on how much you want. Do you want 1/2-inch groups? Do you want 3/4-inch groups? Those are two barrel companies that I absolutely recommend, along with BCM. Obviously, with a majority of my rifles have BCM barrels because they're a couple $100. They're super lightweight and they're very reliable and accurate. But if you shoot them a long time, they heat up a little quicker, and they're not going to be as accurate as a Criterion. A Criterion's not going to be as accurate as a Proof Research. You get in subguns, same thing. You know, you could get an XTAR EP9 for $300, and it's going to do most of what this MP5K will do. Most of it, believe it or not. It'll shoot the same capacity of mags, same caliber, same size and weight of gun. The difference is going to be the overall quality of manufacturing, the durability of the parts, and the reliability of the system over a long-term period of time. And somewhere in between there, you're going to have your Chris Vector, your MPX, and all that fun stuff. And you get down to the World's End type of stuff. You could also use it for, I mean, there's a lot of uses for a military-grade 308 semi-auto. But there's also a lot of drawbacks too. So like if you were going deer hunting, would it be better to have a Ruger Predator in 6mm bolt gun that weighs like 5 pounds than this gigantic thing? Well, obviously it would be, right? Could this do it? Yeah, it could. But would you get tired of lugging this thing around all day? You would, yeah. But hey, if the world ended while you were out deer hunting, you might be happier. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please support your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later. Do you need a gun that I hit her right in the face. But anyway, I didn't mean to. I was just trying to get her to stop bothering me. I don't know. But I think I went a little off track, but I told him it was going to be kind of a rant.
That's fine. That's fine.
You think we're good?
I just didn't know, like...
I kind of went a different way with this video than I was going to go because I kind of forgot what I was talking about.